Welcome to the Unshackled Life Podcast. Real talk about faith, freedom, and following Jesus. My name's Dalen Woodard, and this is one of those ramblecast episodes. Not scripted, not polished, just me talking it out and thinking it through. They may have even been recorded on the fly with interruptions or background noise. If you're up for an honest, sometimes messy, but hopefully meaningful musing, you're in the right place. Let's go. There are a lot of examples in Scripture that show us that God's ways are not our ways and His thoughts are not our thoughts. And I think one of the greatest of these is salvation, deliverance, help. God's idea of what that looks like, and mine, I dare say ours, not the same. First big example in Genesis. Humanity has become so evil and hateful and wicked that they're going to kill themselves. We're going to die out. We need to be saved from ourselves and saved from extinction so that the Messiah can come, so that the promise can come. But who would have thought saving humanity would look like culling it down to 8? But that's exactly what it needed to happen, and that's what happened, and it worked. Then He chose a people through which to bring the promise. And there was just a handful of them, and they needed to survive, and they needed to build and grow in some safety. Okay. So that first salvation from the famine looked like Joseph spending over a decade in prison for something he didn't do. That was salvation. Not just for him, but for the people. And then he became mighty, and they were blessed for a little while. And then salvation looked like 400 years of slavery. Saved the nation of Israel. It made the nation of Israel. And when they were delivered out of that, they plundered Egypt, and they had enough to sustain them for at least 40 years. But of course, the most wild, foolish in the eyes of many is the ultimate salvation, the promise that all those things were pointing to. Were to save humanity permanently, to finish the job that was started at the beginning. God wrapped Himself in flesh, became one of us, so that He could live like us, but in a way that we never could, and do it right in perfect love and submission to the Father. And then He laid His life down, was beaten and crucified, nailed to wood, and hung between heaven and earth until the weight of His body and the weight of our guilt and shame killed Him. That's salvation. What? That's what it looks like. And He was victorious as well. That doesn't look like victory, but they realized it was 3 days later when He came up out of the grave. We all have areas in our life where it looks like defeat. where it feels like defeat. But whether that's temporary for us, in our minds temporary, or temporary till eternity begins, which is pretty temporary, especially in light of eternity. Because of the salvation of the cross, the work that Jesus did on our behalf, we know that no matter what weird, uncomfortable, discouraging situation, whether it feels like we're being culled down or in a prison or living like slaves, you can be free. Salvation has come and victory is assured, and we are going to see him face to face, and that is our hope. That is our joy. And that is our peace. And it's freely given to us, but it was bought at a great and precious price. As his body was broken, like our hearts, like our lives. And his blood was spilled. And his life poured out so that we could live with him. Because living without him is not worth living. But we can have abundant life filled with relationship and intimacy with our Creator, our God, our sovereign King, and our Father. So that's the work that Jesus did that we remember with gratitude. And we look forward, rejoicing in his presence here with us now, giving us a taste of what is to come when he fulfills his promise to return. Thanks for spending some time with me today. If this ramblecast sparked a thought, stirred something in you, or gave you something to wrestle with, I'd love to hear about it. You can reach out anytime, Dalen Woodard at minister.com. That's DALYNWOODARD. And if you're finding these episodes helpful, feel free to share it with someone or leave a comment or a review. Until next time, be blessed, and remember, when you fix your thoughts on God and build your thinking on the foundation of his truth, God fixes your thoughts.